Today we'll discuss about the classifications of kingdom Protista. Now in the previous day we have discussed about the few features of the kingdom Protista. So if we summarize before going to the detail of the classification of the kingdom Protista, if we summarize, so what are the main important thing is that the prokaryotes or protists are generally the eukaryotes, or you can tell the unicellular eukaryotes. But regarding this kingdom of protist, there is some contradiction is also there. Some biologists they tells no, they are resemble to some plants. Why? Because their chlorophyll pigments is resemble to the plants, higher plants. Some are also telling that one no, these are the connection between the fungi and the animals, or fungi and the plants. So some contradiction is there. So but majorly is that important thing is that they are the unicellular prokaryotes. That is the most important things. Okay, and as they are the unicellular prokaryotes, so that's why they have all membrane bounded organelles are also present. Okay, now come to the classification of the kingdom Protista. So this kingdom Protista is broadly classified into CHRYSOPHYTES, DINOFLAGELATES, EUGLEUGLENOIDS, slime molds and protozoans. Once more, that kingdom Protista is broadly classified into CHRYSOPHYTES, DINOFLAGELATES, EUGLEUGLENOIDS, slime molds and protozoans. Now here important thing is there, very important, like this CHRYSOPHYTES, DINOFLAGELATEs and the EUGLEUGLENOIDs. These are generally photosynthetic. These are photosynthetic protists. That means this group from where CHRYSOPHYTES to EUGLEUGLENOIDs, they are these are photosynthetic protists. Okay, who are this CHRYSOPHYTES, DINOFLAGELATEs and the EUGLEUGLENOIDs. These are photosynthetic protists. Why? Because they have chlorophyll pigment, and as they have chlorophyll pigment, so that's why they are able to do photosynthesis. So that's why they are called as photosynthetic pigments. Clear? Now here these slime molds. So these slime molds generally they are saprophytic protists. These are saprophytic protist. Okay, these are saprophytic. We already know about the saprotrophic nutrition. So where the organisms derive from the derive nutrition from the dead and decaying matter, and that particular organism is called as saprotrophs. So here the slime mold, they are saprophytic protist. Very important. And these protozoans generally they are majorly they are remain as a parasite. So you can tell the protists are parasitic. Okay, but all form of the protozoans they are not parasitic, but few forms are also there. Commonly if we called about the trypanosoma, they are commonly parasitic in nature. But where about that if you comes to the our amoeba, so the amoeba they are not a parasite. So same way, once more, the CHRYSOPHYTES, DINOFLAGELATEs and the EUGLEUGLENOIDs, okay, they are photosynthetic protists, whereas slime molds and the protozoans, they are slime molds, whereas they are saprophytic protists, and whereas the protozoans are parasitic protists. Okay, clear? Now here we have to do the, in today's video we'll discuss about the characteristics features of CHRYSOPHYTES, DINOFLAGELATEs and the EUGLEUGLENOIDs. So let's move into the few basic characteristics features of the CHRYSOPHYTES. Majorly these CHRYSOPHYTES they comprises diatoms and the golden algae. That means who belongs in this CHRYSOPHYTES or CHRYSOPHYTA. So this CHRYSOPHYTES generally it's occupied by diatoms and the golden algae. Got it? Clear? Now if we came to know that one, some basic features of the chrysophytes. Generally, if you look into the chrysophytes, these chrysophytes, their body cell wall, if you think about their body cell wall, okay, generally it's made up of silica. Okay, so this silica, it's made up of silica, and their body, if you see generally their body, it's just like a soap box, we already know. Okay, like this soap box like structure it will be. That's why they have a soap box like structure. Why? Because they have a overlapping cell. This is a overlapping cells are present, and their cell wall, it's made up of generally silica. And as it is made up of the silica, so what happens, their cell wall is generally harder. It's very tough. Okay, it's not possible to break down their cell wall. Correct, it's very difficult, it's extremely difficult to break their cell wall. Why? Because it's made up of the silicon. And what happens, as it is made up of silicon, so that's why what happens, once this chrysophytes dies, so they left their all dead bodies in the ocean bottom, and after the many years, this dead bodies have also silica. These silicas actually compile, okay, and they form a structure, and that is known as the diatomaceous earth. So what is the diatomaceous earth? Diatomaceous earth means once the chrysophytes dies, so their dead body get deposited into the ocean bottom, and in their body you already know there is a presence of the silica. So it means what happens, the silica continuously get deposited upon like that. So as a result, after millions and million years, so in the ocean there is a formation of structure, it's called as diatomaceous earth. Okay, it's clear, it's called as diatomaceous earth. And majorly, if we found where we can get them, we can get them into the majorly in the marine water, and sometimes also we can get them into the fresh water also. But generally this chrysophytes actually this serves as plankton. Serves as plankton. So plankton, what are the planktons? Planktons are the small microscopic organism. They cannot move against the water current. So it means they will move through the with the water current. Okay, with the help of the water current they will move. So as they doesn't have the proper swimming structure, so that's why they will not able to move against the water current. Clear? Very clear. So those organisms are called as plankton. Now what happens, these chrysophytes are generally the chief producer of ocean. Okay, chief producer of the ocean. That means what happens, they helps to maintain the ecosystem of ocean. So that's why they are the chief producer of the ocean. So if you summarize these things, so generally they are marine. Okay, that means we can get them into the marine water, but it's also possible we can get them into the fresh water. Okay, and they served as a plankton. Okay, why it's a plankton? Because they cannot move against the water current. Then their body structure, if you look, they have the over-like cell-like structure. Okay, and it's made up of the silica, and as it is made up of the silica, the cell wall is very hard, very rigid. It's very tough to break them. Okay, now, and once they die, so they left their entire body structure in the ocean bottom, and once it's compiled togetherly, it's from the diatomaceous earth. And this chrysophytes, they also a chief producer of ocean. So examples of the chrysophytes is diatoms and the decimids. These golden algae are also called as decimids. Golden algae are also called as decimids. Okay, clear? So next we will move into the dinoflagellates. So what are the dinoflagellates? So these dinoflagellates, generally they are marine, but they are photosynthetic. They are generally marine, but they are photosynthetic. And these dinoflagellates, they are very much colorful, from red color to green to brown to blue, okay, so to yellow. So they are very much colorful, they are very much attractive, they are very much beautiful. So that's why what happens, they are very much colorful. They can be green in color, okay, they can be green, they can be blue, they can be red, they can be yellow. So they are very much colorful, okay, just like our rainbow. And generally in their body, so as it is a dino means two, and flagellates means two. Flagellate words came from the flagella. So in their body they have two flagella. So what is the flagella? We already know the flagella is a helps in the locomotion generally, and they're generally longer in size. So this flagella, if it is present, that means it will definitely help in the locomotion. Now you tell me, here I told about the plankton. Why they served as a plankton? Because over here they doesn't have any proper locomotory organ, but here we are getting locomotory organ in the form of the flagella. So that's why definitely if they have flagella, so that means they will able to swim against the water current. So that's why they are not serving as a plankton. And next one also, here as here we got their cell wall made up of the silica, so same way their cell wall is also stiff, but it is made up of cellulose. It is made up of cellulose. Now you tell me, generally in the plant the cell wall is made up of the cellulose, but here also the cell wall is made up of the cellulose. So that's why in the beginning I told that one, there is some contradiction of the kingdom Protista, because they have some characters that resembles with the higher plants. And why? Because in the plants only we are getting there is a cell wall made up of the cellulose, and here also we are getting the structure or cell wall is also made up of the cellulose. So that's why there is a similarities is there. Okay, next is that very important, very important, as I told over here, they can be very much colorful. So among of them there is a one dinoflagellates, it's called as a goniulax. This goniulax generally they are very much brightly red in color, and once in huge growth they form red tide. Red tide means what happens? This is actually nothing but the goniulax. During the time of the reproduction, the goniulax will reproduce so havocly, so as a result the entire ocean it will looks like a red, or it will be looking like a blood. So from there it's called as a red tide. Now this red tide condition is very much harmful, is very much lethal for the ecosystem of the ocean. Why? During the time of huge reproductions they will also release some toxin. Okay, toxin means you already know it's a poison. So they will also release poison, and due to this poison what will happen? It will destroy the fishes, ecosystem of the fishes. So that means what happens? Due to the red tide, what will happen? What is the reason of the red tide? The reason of the red tide is the goniulax, and during the red tide they will eliminate, or they will passes the toxin, and that toxin it will be helpful, or it will be very much dangerous or harmful for the ecosystem of the ocean. Okay, now here if you comes the other features, that is the euglenoids. So the euglenoids, if you summarize their characteristics features, the euglenoids generally maximum form are the freshwater. So that means if you look into the habitat, so generally their habitat we can get them into freshwater, fresh. Okay, we are not getting them generally into the marine water, but even the water is fresh, generally abundantly we can get them into stagnant water. Stagnant water means where the water is not flowing. Okay, like our river water, ocean water is continuously flowing, but whereas the pond water it's not so much flowing, just like a river water. So generally in the stagnant water we can get the majorly euglenoids. Now what are the other features? In the euglenoids, most important feature is that they lacks cell wall. Now you tell me, between animal and plant, who lacks cell wall? Okay, definitely it's a animal cell. So that means what happens? The kingdom Protista also have some similarities with animals. So there is a contradiction again. So that means they lacks the cell wall. So if they doesn't have the cell wall, what they should have? So instead of the cell wall in their body, we are getting a protein-rich layer. A layer is present definitely, but that layer is made up of protein. and that layer is called as pellicle. Very important, it's called as pellicle. And due to this pellicle, these euglenoids are very much flexible. That means, what is the function of the pellicle? This pellicle, it gives the flexibility to euglenoids. Got it? What is the function of the pellicle? Pellicle gives the flexibility to euglenoids. And what is the pellicle? Instead of the cell wall, the protein layer is also present, and that protein layer is called as pellicle, and that pellicle gives the flexibility to euglenoids. Now over here, the euglenoids also have flagella. Okay, they are also flagellated, but here they have one larger or one longer flagella, and one they have also short. That means two flagella is present. One flagella will be shorter and one flagella will be longer. So they have two flagella. Now one important thing is that if you come to the nutritional mode of the euglenoids, okay, so here they show two modes. They can be autotrophic and they can be heterotrophic. Why? So why they should be autotrophic? Actually, they'll have chlorophyll. Okay, euglena, they have chlorophyll. They have chlorophyll. So as they have chlorophyll, so that means they will able to perform photosynthesis. And very much interestingly, whatever the chlorophyll euglena have, that chlorophyll also higher angiosperm also have. That means the chlorophyll of the higher plant and the chlorophyll of the euglena is same. Okay, again contradiction. Now what happens during daylight, whenever the sunlight is present, so the euglena perform autotrophic of nutrition. Same way, whenever the sunlight is absent, okay, or in absence of sunlight, the euglena show heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, so that's why they are heterotrophs. And as the euglena show both modes, autotrophic mode and as well as heterotrophic mode, so due to that one, the euglena modes are also we can call as a mixotroph. Okay, mixotroph. So example of the euglenoids are very easy. In the name only example is there, euglena. Okay, in euglena. So what happens today, we have discussed about the basic characteristics features of the chrysophytes, dinoflagellates and the euglenoids, and we came to know that one, the chrysophytes, they help in the formation of the diatomaceous earth and they are the chief producer of ocean. And what are the other important features? Here in the dinoflagellates, we came to know that one, they are helps in the formation of the red tide. And why? Due to the huge reproductions of the goniolacs, and they are very much colorful, and that is the red tide. The goniolacs causes red tide. What is the goniolacs? Goniolacs is dinoflagellates. Don't be confused, it's not a chrysophyte, it's not a euglenoids, it's a dinoflagellates. So goniolacs is dinoflagellates and the goniolacs cause red tide. Same way the euglenoids. So the euglenoids, they one more important features, they have pellicle, and due to the pellicle, what happens, they are much more flexible. Okay, and other important features, they have two modes of nutrition. One is the autotrophic mode of nutrition and one is the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and that's why we can call them as mixotrophs. So they have two modes of nutrition. One is the autotrophic mode of nutrition and another is the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So that's why we can call them as mixotroph organism. Thank you.